Tashidele, everyone. Hello. Hope you are all doing good.
Welcome back, Geshe.
Thank you, Venerable. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So before we start the actual talk, we take some moment to reflect on the adversities, the sufferings, the war in Ukraine, and and those people who are tremendous in pain, fear, and as well as there are so many other humans, animals, spirits that who go through so many forms of sufferings due to natural disaster, due to different form of diseases. So keeping all those beings in our heart and try to express compassion, love, and try to dedicate our life, all our virtues, and this very session to be complete cause for them, for all these suffering beings to be free from all form of adversities, and including of all the mother sentient beings to be free from oceans of samsaric suffering. It is causes the karma and delusion, and abide them in the state of peerless happiness of enlightenment. Yeah, so we do a few moments of reflection, meditation on that. Thank you. So then we generate altruistic intention to bring our session to be most beneficial, most meaningful for the benefit of all sentient beings' well-being. That also on the basis of refreshing our refuge in Buddha Dhamma Sangha. So I will recite refuge and Bodhicitta prayer, then make salutations to Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, our root guru, from whom all this teaching get inspired, in particularly the teachings on emptiness, teachings on interdependent arising, the emptiness, that only the Buddha have taught, within this fortunate yuan, in particularly within our southern continent, in the time of where Shakyamuni Buddha came into this southern world to turn the wheel of Dharma. Even though there are so many great religious teachers or great philosophers, great learned one exist even before Buddha came into existence, but the wisdom, the knowledge on the wisdom of emptiness, the knowledge that discovering the ultimate truth of self and phenomena, only Shakyamuni Buddha did it. So therefore, like what we read in Hasutra and what we read in all the wisdom sutras, then in particularly were very clearly elucidated by Lama Tsongkhapa in the process of dependent rising to Buddha, that he is the supreme teacher, the great teacher among all the other great teachers. The crown of all the other scholars, because of Buddha taught the truth. The Buddha discovered the truth, the ultimate truth of self and phenomena, and he found the language, the correct language to educate his followers, like ourselves, where only by knowing the truth we can able to overcome the false. Only by knowing the truth of self and truth of the object where we apprehend the phenomena. Only by realizing the absolute truth, then we are able to wake up from the hallucination, wake up from the delusions, ignorant, which is the main reason why we suffer, which is the main reason why we are unable to get liberated or become Buddha, be fully awakened because of that. So even though there are, numberless wisdoms out there, numberless philosophies out there, numberless ways to condition for peace and happiness of sentient beings, but every other wisdom, got limitations. Limitation because of there's no lenses to discover the ultimate truth. Whatever the wisdom that they discover, the right tool for the genuine happiness is quite a superficial, very much mixed with contaminations such as hallucination, worldly concerns, or a limitation in the objective where you are pursuing of the happiness. But when it comes to the objective of emptiness, then the ultimate objective is enlightenment, the cessation from all the forms. Then the path is so right and absolute and complete because it acts as a direct antidote to the root problem maker, the ignorant. Then not only that, even a beginner and ordinary, very deluded, being like myself, also, can practice. Even very poor wisdom being also, by relying on these wisdoms, have opportunity to be free ourselves from entire delusions, entire sufferings. Even if we hold very low, philosophical view on understanding of reality, but then in the teachings of the Buddha's wisdom have so many layers, so many levels of tools to educate and can practice according with our mental disposition. So it's amazing, unbelievable thing about that is absolutely, like what Lama Tsongkhapa praises in the dependent arising to Buddha, because of he taught the dependent arising, the wisdom of dependent arising, the wisdom of emptiness, which no one taught before. So like that. Yes. Okay, I get distracted. So my point is, make salutation to this Buddha, the Buddha who just described, very briefly. So then we make salutation to our lineage guru, like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who again, absolute role model for us to practice this wisdom. His Holiness openly tell us that since a little boy, his curiosity is about finding the truth, absolute truth on emptiness, absolute truth on self and phenomena. Since little boy, he has this curiosity. Then, for the past, I think 60 over years, 60 or 70, yes, 60 over years. He said he invest his life, his energy, his wisdom to learn about emptiness, and daily, he meditate, and he openly, which is very rare for these realized beings to openly talk about their qualities and their realization. But he says, that maybe he says that in this life, he said that he have confidence that he will reach up to the path of preparation from the 5 path, path of preparation. So this is just a ordinary aspect of illusion. In ultimate, in absolute reality, His Holiness, is enlightened, compassionate Buddha who already realized emptiness directly. Not only that, who have already achieved a state of full enlightenment. The Dharmakaya, the wisdom, exalted wisdom of the Buddha. But then, as he came in the manifestation of ordinary person, as an ordinary student of this great Nalanda Panditas and this great Tibetan Mahasiddhas, and grow up as like an ordinary child, ordinary human being, then get educated. So within his ordinary human lifetime, if you want to illustrate in comparison of how hard to gain progress in emptiness wisdom, it requires tremendous merit, tremendous learning, tremendous practice. But then, his honest kind of, giving encouragement that, his life is one of the busiest life. Even when he was a child, he said that he didn't get the privilege to study like the normal other monks, because of his title, he has so many other responsibilities. So he openly said he didn't get a chance to study well, like how others have a consistent study. Then after that, he lost his country, went through tremendous stress, tremendous nightmares. But then he said one thing that he never give up is learning on emptiness, and try to meditate on emptiness. And through there, he says, he tried to heal himself. He tried to recover himself, energize himself, be strong again himself. Even in how much that he fell down, he tried to get up with the wisdom of emptiness. And in that sense, then he says that, he have hope to reach to path of preparation means is a very high level of path. So, yeah. Then also, whenever you listen his lecture, whichever teaching event that you attend, his core teaching is all about emptiness. Even though he will use so many different texts, there's a different subject that given to him to talk, but then very much consolidate in emptiness. You see, so if his soulness put so much effort, then why not us, isn't it? His soulness is already, like even in the human realm, he's quite up there, and he find all these tools to bring betterment in him, and why not us, isn't it? So therefore, it's the greatest inspiration, you see, so like that. Then the immediate, our guru, many of you have directly, relate to teaching, even sit together and have conversations, attend the retreat, our most precious Guru Kyabje Lama Sopa Rinpoche. Again, you can realize that, Rinpoche teach unbelievable, so many different teachings, but then again, consolidate everything in emptiness, So these are great, our inspirations. So we make salutation so that we will, receive a lot of blessings, so that we too, able to actualize all these benefits. Sangye Jodang Zoye Jonala Janju Badu Dane Jasunje Dage Jinso Jebe Sonamye Jola Benje Sangye Jubara Esho Sangye Jodang Zoye Jonala Janju Badu Dane Jasunje Dage Jinso Jebe Sonamye Jola Benje Sangye Jubara Esho Sangye Jodang Zoye Jonala Janju Badu Dane Jasunje Dage Jinso Jebe Sonamye Jola Benje Sangye Jubara Esho Semje damje dewa dang dewe judan dembra juje semje damje dunga dang dunga je judan dawra juje semje damje dunga mebe dewa dami dawa juje semje damje nire chadan nidan dawe tanyon lan nebra jurje semje damje dewa dang dewe judan dembra juje semje damje dunga je judan dawra juje semje damje dunga mebe dewa dami dawa juje semje damje nire chadan nidan dawe Danyola nebra juroje, simje damje dewa dang, dewe judan dembra juje, simje damje dunga dang, dunga je judan dawa juje, simje damje dunga mebe dewa dami dawa, simje damje nire jada nidan dawe, danyola nebra juroje. Kange duze ne zone, dawa damje bambe jire, dambe jine dunze bang, godam dela, chase lo, doni ninje sondo chube lam, seje senju kanje tende gun, chana bim, tenzin jazo, sowan debzo da yu jinje lo. Yeah. So we can do the mandala offering. So we offer our body, speech, and mind, our entire existence, then all the object of three partial attitude, including of the three partial attitude, in the form of wish fulfilling jewel, nectar, foods, nectars, offered to all the lineage gurus and all the Buddhas. Saji beje jonje mendo dam re rab leje nyende jembande sanje jindo mi de bewai dogen namda jingla je bamai jo da je lunga yezo lonje de zum jazo je re jemenda sambo ko zon jo ba so jo lo ye la ne la ma ye dam kun jo zon la be de je wan je chen yen da la chen je la do so da je cha dam mo zon je be yo da nye ba zon de da lonje Pamba meba bege le jone doso ransan do wa chinje lo ye dama guru rana menda la kani ya. Okay, so thank you. So please have a comfortable time, sit comfortably, relax, have drinks. So if you need to eat dinner in your place, is a dinner time, you can enjoy. So just, yes, be easy, okay? So we see how it goes, which direction it goes. So there's a few directions. So hopefully we'll not go into the technical direction because that's a lot of countings. So we see how it goes. So anyway, the topic is method and wisdom, and what are they and how they practice together. So last session we talked about mainly method. And this session, we'll talk about mainly the wisdom aspect. So you see, very much, can summarize into these 3 points in the whole journey from very beginning all the way up to actualizing the result, enlightenment in Buddhist practice. Whether to do with the method or wisdom, the true truth as a foundation to be known or learned, and the true path, the method and wisdom to be cultivated, to practice, and the true bodies of the Buddha, the form body and the wisdom body to be achieved. So that's the framework. So then, yes, then there's a helicopter going on. Maybe bushfire, maybe. Most of the time, helicopter go on, there's a bushfire. Most of the time. So much is samsara, This part of the place where I am, almost no rain at all for so many, all throughout this hot summer period. I heard from today onward, for coming week, the weather is a bit cooling, but otherwise, yesterday is 38. Then before that, I think 40, sometime 41, 30, like that. You can see literally the plants are, drying up, almost like burning, completely. It's gradually you see the scent like that. But then some part, so heavy flood, so much flood, and too much water is like too much, so then war, then still people fight each other. So unbelievable, isn't it? So anyway, put aside that one. Okay. So now Mm, mm. So the ultimate wisdom, the ultimate wisdom that we're supposed to achieve, so that is the exalted, omniscient wisdom of emptiness, exalted uh, wisdom that realizes the ultimate nature of lack of inherent existence in entire entire existence. Mhm. The self, the phenomena, including of the emptiness, and that uh, in a sustainable, omniscient, mm, omnipresent. Uh, as long as there's omniscient, then that wisdom is ever present without interruption by pause activities, without interruption by other thoughts, without interruption by other activities. Then the meditation, the observation meditation on emptiness, very much the observation on the meditation on the exalted wisdom, the emptiness, stay exact equal strength during the pause sessions, during the activities, as equal as during the meditative session. So that is the ultimate goal that we want to achieve. In another word, is very much talking about the Dharmakaya, Dharmakaya body, or the wisdom bodies of the Buddha. So that's exactly the same thing. It's a synonymous. Yeah, the Dharmakaya, the wisdom bodies of the Buddha. So that is the goal. Okay. During the training on the path, even one already achieved the highest level of the training path, is very close to become Buddha and realize emptiness directly. There's no simultaneous present of meditative observation together with the post meditative activities. So whenever the Bodhisattva, even the highest level Bodhisattva, whenever they get into the post meditation activities, they lose the absorption meditation on emptiness wisdom. Even they have realized emptiness directly. The highest level of emptiness wisdom in the training part, even they realize that. But whenever they are in post meditation, they lose that. So whenever they want to, dedicate as an antidote to any form of, any degree, any form of hallucination or the defilement, they need to resume the meditation with a great effort. And the great effort here is referring to the merit that, it has to depend on the resources of merit for oneself to, how long that one can able to remain in a meditative absorption, and how effective one can able to apply the antidote to the negation. You see, so there's no simultaneous. So this is one difference, after achieving Buddhahood and before. So that's one thing. Now the difference between those who already achieved the Arya path, already realize non-conceptual wisdom of emptiness, that comparing to the ordinary bodhisattvas and people, ordinary people like us, the wisdom of emptiness of the Arya beings is non-conceptual wisdom of emptiness. The wisdom of emptiness of the ordinary bodhisattvas, like such of those who are in part of those who are in a part of preparation, a part of accumulation, a part of preparation, and as well as those who are even not enter into the path. When we realize emptiness, the emptiness realization is a conceptual realization of emptiness. There's a conceptual influence in that. So that is not the fully qualified emptiness. You see, so like that. So that is the the difference by comparing the wisdom of Arya beings and wisdom of the ordinary beings. So when it comes to the Arya being, there's a Bodhisattva's path follower Arya beings and the solitary realizer's path and the hero realizer's path, which comes from the Hinayana path, which comes from the earlier vehicle. Before Mahayana, there's a two earlier vehicle. They call as a Hinayana, or nowadays Hisonles use the term the Pali, those who follow the Pali school, and very much of the Mahayanic vehicle is very much use the term as who follow the Sanskrit teachings of the Buddha. So those who follow the Hinayana path, there are two ways to pursue liberation. One is the solitary, the hearers and solitary realizers. They also use the term Pateka Buddha and Sarvaka Buddha's path. Then the Mahayana, there's a Sutric Mahayanic path and Tantric Mahayanic path. And all these four category of practitioners, there's a stages before entering into path. After entering into the path, there's ordinary path and there's an Arya path. Then path of normal learning, which is enlightenment. So the Arya beings is not only referring to the Arya Bodhisattva. So it can be the two lower vehicles Arya being also. When they realize emptiness, their emptiness is non-conceptual realization of emptiness. That wisdom of emptiness is the most effective antidote to eradicate the delusion and defilement. The conceptual realization of emptiness, yes, it is beneficial as an antidote to delusion and defilement, but not as effective as those of the wisdom, the Arya being, because the limitation is the conceptual the influence. When you realize emptiness, you realize emptiness dualistically. You don't realize emptiness directly, dualistically. What dualistically? Dualistically here meaning is that you realize, let's say, lack of inherent existence or lack of true existence. But at the same time, that realization has to depend on the reasoning by the conceptual mind. You see, so because of dependent on the reasoning of the conceptual mind, it is not independent, directly without depending on anyone, any idea, any wisdom, not that directly. How to say? without any layers, you can directly can see through it, or it is reality. So that's the thing. That's the differences. Directly realize emptiness, and directly realize emptiness. Where these two categories comes from, because of that. You see, so simply because of dualistic, and the dualistic again because this term dualistic used many places. So this dualistic is not talking about inherent existent dualistic, true existent dualistic. It's not talking about the dualistic referring to the conceptual mind. Dependence on the conceptual idea. Very much our conceptual ordinary mind reasoning, rationalizing for us to gain the absolute, understanding of the emptiness. So when you realize that as a spontaneous realization in your continuum, as a wisdom, sustainable wisdom, then that's called the realization of emptiness. You see, so right now we also can do that, but we cannot claim we realize emptiness because we don't have this sustainability. You see, we can also use the conceptual reasonings, through analytical meditation, which we may discuss briefly today, or maybe the next session. Through analytical observations of no self or emptiness of self, and those analytical wisdoms are, in fact, it's a conceptual mind. It still carry the conceptual, what do you call the hallucinations of, inherent existence. When we realize the realization of emptiness, what do you call the conceptual realization of emptiness, we get to understand lack of inherent existence, but the tool that we use to realize it, in fact, it has the stain of inherent existence. Like very much like when we use our eye now looking out, to find out the truth of this mala, whether it's crystal or not, crystal or not. When you use your eye, yes, you see crystal. You see crystal, this white thingy crystal, but that seeing carry the hallucinations of inherent existence and true existence, because it does not exist the way how we perceive. The crystal that sees to your eye, apprehended by your eye consciousness, does not exist the way how it exists in actual reality. Because if you go to find exactly the way how your eye perceive it, you cannot find crystal at all in entire form, entire basis, exactly how you perceive it. Because absolute truth is empty of the way how you see it. You see, but through that, after you seeing it, then you make yourself to analyze it. Then at the end of the result of analyzing, you found the crystal is lack of inherent existence, or crystal is empty in crystal, or crystal is empty of crystal. The crystal is empty of the way how you first perceive it. You realize emptiness, but that realization is not a non-conceptual realization. It is a conceptual realization. So there's some little difference, isn't it? So like that. So anyway, so you see, so now within the ordinary practitioner, those who already enter into path, those who are not enter into path, like ourselves, the difference, comparison difference is we don't gain sustainable one. Those who are in a path of those who are in the path of preparation and path of accumulation, the realization on emptiness, even it's a conceptual realization of emptiness, is a sustainable. You see, they can use that as a meditative absorption sustainability way. You see, but in our case, we can meditate for 1 hour, 2 hours, or even many hours. But the thing is, we don't have that spontaneous arising as a path. So in another word, the emptiness wisdom that we have not become path yet. But emptiness, those who realize, even by ordinary Bodhisattva, they have become path. So that's another difference, you see. So like that. So that again goes similar to whether bodhicitta become actual path or not. You know, bodhicitta become, when bodhicitta realization become actual path, again can define similar way, you see, so like this. So now, so here, the wisdom of emptiness, you know, can be understood on the basis of different philosophical level of understanding of emptiness. Then also, you know, understanding on the basis of object of the emptiness, object of the wisdom of emptiness, the object of you know, your mind, that where you're going to realize emptiness, you know, the differences, you know, there's labels. So then subjectively, there are many levels, many different ways to apprehend, you know, stages and the layers of, you know, different levels of wisdom, different level of wisdom, you know, from the subjective side, from the minds, you know, from the mind side. Ultimately is to realize the emptiness that which presented, which is intent of Buddha, which is clearly presented in, you know, Buddha's sutric and the tantric treatise, and very you know, what do you call, very nicely illustrated for our easier apprehension, very nicely, you know, illustrated by the great Indian Pandit, like such as Nagarjuna, Dharmakirti, like that, Shantideva, and then like Lama Atisha, then like Tibetan great masters, like such as Lama Tsongkhapa. That definition of the emptiness is the ultimate definition of emptiness, and that is the emptiness that presented by Pasangika Madhyamika school view, which is the emptiness of lack of inherent existence, or emptiness of lack of inherent existence. It also used as a term as emptiness of lack of substantial existence, or emptiness of lack of inherent existence. So these are the few terms to relate to the most extended definitions of emptiness. So now, then the second levels is the Sautrantika Madhyamika's presentations on emptiness. That which is lack of true existence. emptiness of lack of true existence. And then the slightly lower than that, the emptiness presented by the mind-only school or the Chitta Madhuri school, which is the lack of dualistic existence. Then lower than that, which is presented by the Sutric follower or the Saudantika school and the Vaivasika school. So two of this, the very basic school, the assertion is very much similar, which is the emptiness or the selflessness. The Saudantika Madhyamika, the lower school of the earlier two lower school, the Saudantika, the Sutric follower, the Saudantika school has the term of emptiness of self or the emptiness of phenomena, which is called the selflessness of self, selflessness of phenomena. But then when it comes to Vaivasika school, does not use the term selflessness, the emptiness of phenomena. Very much use the term of the selflessness, just use the term of the selflessness, which is referring to the emptiness. So, then these four schools, which is the presentations of the definition of emptiness from these four schools is the framework of the knowledge to understand emptiness in your own individual, capability, based on what is comfortable for you to, apprehend on the emptiness wisdom, and based on that you can choose different schools. And these schools are, even though different masters, they very much bring about these schools, but ultimate intention is Buddha himself as a skillful means for the different level of the mindsets and the capability of the sentient being in order to understand the emptiness wisdom, very much bring about these four different schools of philosophy. The main purpose of the philosophy is about understanding of the wisdom aspect of the path. Even though in Buddhist tenets, talks about all different aspects of practice and teachings, including of the method aspect of the practices extensively, but the main focus is all about getting to understand the wisdom of emptiness. So these four schools is not presented to confuse us. Since Buddha's intent on emptiness is pasangika madhyamika, then you give so many other definitions of emptiness. It's really confusing, isn't it? It's when you put the four schools presentation together, it's really confusing. And I used to think when we first start to study, is why just directly talk about pasangika madhyamika, since that is the ultimate reaching point on the emptiness wisdom, and all the rest is so messy, so confusing, But after you thoroughly study the whole different level of the philosophy, in fact, it really served as a, earlier schools served as a foundation to the later schools. It's very much like putting a brick on top of each, like that, So now the point here is, one will able to, get well understanding of the Pasangika Madhyamika school when you understand the emptiness of the Saudantika Madhyamika school. when you understand well of the Southern, in order to understand well of the Southern Decade school, then, is by understanding the Chitta Madhyana school point of view of emptiness, that will help. So similar goes to the earlier school like that. So, so an example, you see, so it's very much like, in order to reach to the core of the onion, then you need to peel the one by one layer out of the skin, isn't it? Similar like that. So in order to get to the core layer, the core point of the ultimate wisdom of emptiness, first you peel the what do you call you peel the negation that presented by the Vaibhasika school. Then you're closer to the ultimate wisdom. Then second, you peel the negation that presented by the Chitta Madhyana school. Then finally, you peel the negation that presented by the Saudandika Madhyamika school. The moment you peel the layer of the negation or negate the negation that presented by Saudandika Madhyamika school, the next wisdom is you realize the ultimate emptiness wisdom of an ultimate emptiness wisdom that presented by Pasankika Madhyamika school. So if we speak more broadly, more detail, then it will be like that. So as I mentioned before, the emptiness or the ultimate nature of self and phenomena is selflessness, as which Vaibhasika school and the Saudandika school presented, isn't it? So what it really means, selfless, what it really, for Vaibhasika, the lowest school, what it really means, selfless, what it really means, self is empty of self, means self is empty of being permanent. Self is empty of being, or self is selfless of being, independent existing, autonomic existing. Yeah. So permanent, independent, autonomic existent. So since the self is being empty, or self is not being permanent, therefore self is impermanent. You see, self, because of self is not being independent, therefore self is dependent. Dependent on what? Dependent on cause and condition. You see, then self is selfless, or being empty of autonomic, therefore it is dependent on its own basis, its own basis, like such as a person, our aggregates are the basis where we can able to find ourselves, isn't it? So so like that. So therefore, self is a dependent arising. So now here, all the four schools use the same term. What it means, emptiness. In one word, they answer emptiness means dependent arising. So if someone asks you, what do you mean by emptiness? You say, oh, dependent arising. You give the correct answer, absolute correct answer. You say, then if you happen to be the Vaibhasika follower, then if the questioner asks you, do you mean dependent arising means dependent on mainly labor by mind? You say, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that. I don't believe in that. What I'm talking about, dependent arise on cause and conditions. Dependent arising, I is dependently existing or dependent arising because of it is base, the aggregates. And I'm simply talking about that, you see. So what Vaibhasika mean, the definition of emptiness in one word as a dependent arising, presented correctly, isn't it? So in any way, my point is that all the four schools, they use the same term, dependent arising, but each school, the meaning is totally different. The totally different in the sense that more subtle in relation to the earlier school. The subtlest meaning of dependent arising is what presented by the Pasangika Madhyamaka school, the Buddha's ultimate intent, or the Nagarjuna presented, which is exists merely labeled by mind. I exist merely labeled by mind, or exists simply in the imputation of the mind, simply imputed by the mind. So you exist simply interdependent to the imputation of the mind. So that's a subtlest. But that dependent arising, the intensity has to be built on the basis of the meaning of the dependent arising, which presented by all the earlier schools, even how lightly it may be, but it's all built up on like that. So now, you see, the Vaibhasika school, what it means, emptiness of self, emptiness of permanent, independent, and autonomy. So now, so this is similar to the Southern Dika Madhyamaka school too. So now the next level is the Chitta Madhyamaka school. The Chitta Madhyamaka school, what do you mean by self is empty? What do you mean by, things are in the nature of interdependent arising, or things are in the nature of emptiness? It meaning things are emptiness of dualistic existence. So here the emptiness means dualistic existence. Dualistic existence, the meaning by the Chitta Madhyamaka school is talking about existence which is not totally dependent on the mind. There's something substantially exists by its own right of those tangible phenomena, other than the mind, such as like an object, such as like a cup. The cup, understanding the cup exists without depending on the mind. Cup exists on the basis of it is substance, such as the clay, the cup maker, but it is not the reflection of your mind. So when you believe like that, when you understand like that, that's called believing in dualistic, having the dualistic faults. You see, so the Chitta Madhyamaka, for the Chitta Madhyamaka, their understanding of the entire existence is nothing exists on physical level by its own right. Everything is existent. Everything is arising of the imprint of your mind. So this cup exists because you have an imprint of this cup. That's why you see the cup. That's why you can use the cup. Simply that. When you don't have the imprint of the cup, this may not be cup. And it's quite true. It's quite true. If someone don't have the mindset of making this cup won't exist, isn't it? If you ask me to make this cup, I have no imprint of making, the design, all this, so no way I can make it, So someone need to have some kind of mental picture that which bring about the existence, you see. So when we think about, a human being, when we talk about the karma, our we are the result of our past karma, and the karma also mental imprint is not a physical thing. Then
on that substance to really make a baby, father, mother has to have the idea, you see, like desire or to produce children. Otherwise, without that, the baby won't just pop up, isn't it? It's quite true, isn't it? So everything is about creation of your mind, is arising of your imprint, your idea. So the Chitta Madharans, so that's why there are so many, individuals, practitioners, even though they sound themselves as a Pasangika Madhyamika, but actually they are following the Chitta Madharan school. And the Chitta Madharan school is actually great dominant, even in today's time, in Buddhist world, even many great philosophers, because it really is very much similar to the Pasangika Madhyamika, the final view. But there's a difference. But there's a difference. What is the difference? Chitta Madharan, even though say the word and think that everything is existing of your mind, but the problem is the mind has to be true existing. That's the problem. You see, true existing is the big problem. True existing for Nagarjuna, true existence is equal as inherent existence, substance existence, as a heavy negation as an inherent existence, you see. So therefore, Chitta Madharan, if there's no true existent mind, then mind will have no potential to make this cup. If the mind has no solidness of it is true existent nature, then cannot carry the imprint. Its mind will be like a hollow, cannot sustain the imprint. And if there's no imprint, how to create the world, isn't it? So it sounds like so true. It really makes sense like that, isn't it? But the true existence, the fault is the true existence is hallucination. True existence is the ignorant. True existence manifests in so many different forms, delusional forms, you see. So it is a wrong view. So therefore, even Chitta Madharan is so good and everything is arising of your mind because of asserting true existence, your view also falls into a wrong view in relation to Pasangika Madhyamika's view. But it is already helpful. Now you see, Pasangika Madhyamika's view is everything is merely labeled by mind. Everything is designated by mind. And even that mind is empty of inherent existence, isn't it? You see, so now the Chitta Madharan idea actually is so helpful to be prepared. You see, you can easily accept the lack of inherent existence of the phenomena in its own right, but it will be hard to accept the emptiness of the subject. So now, because of the earlier, you see, the two schools that I just discussed, the Vaibhasika school mainly focus on the object side, emptiness of object side, emptiness of being permanent, emptiness of being independent, emptiness of being autonomy. So now this helps the Pasangika Madhyamika view holder to realize lack of inherent existence on the objects. Then learning the view on the Chitta Madhara, it helps tremendously to know the lack of inherent existence on the subject. You see, so in any way, so these two earlier school, so if you put all the four schools together and compare and see what how it benefit each other, then one will realize that. Then the third one is the Sautrantika Madhyamika school. So Sautrantika Madhyamika school, the negation is true existent, not an inherent existence. Sautrantika Madhyamika school assert inherent existence, substantial existence, but do not assert true existence. Now the earlier two schools assert true existence. Vaibhasika school also assert true existence. Chitta Madhyamika school also assert true existence. Vaibhasika school assert true existence on the object, more than the mind, even the object also true existence. Now for the Chitta Madhyamika school, object is lack of true existence, but the subject, the mind, is true existence. Now the Southern Madhyamika school, the main negation is true existence. There's no true existence in the subject. Also, there's no true existence on the object. You see, but there has to be substantial existence in order to actualize something. So if there's no substance, if there's no essence, to form a cup, like the dust, the atom, no way the cup can form, isn't it? It's quite true, isn't it? This is how we think. How can create an actual cup like a magic, like boom, cup here, it's not possible, isn't it? It's not possible, isn't it? You need some micro atoms, then the gross atoms, then all the dust put together, then become a muck. Isn't it? But the thing is, the Southern Madhyamika, the understanding that dust, that atom, that seed, or whatever it is, that potential is not true existence, but inherent existence. If that is not inherent existence, then there's non-existent. Then it's become like, you need to get a cup by womb or my home. Yeah, like that. It's not possible. You see? So now, when our thought arises, there has to be substance. There has to be a trickle point, which is inherent existence. Therefore, thought arises. There has to be substance in order to arise attachment, anger, aversion. It's so true. If there's no substance, how just anger just don't boom, just in the space, it has to be, it has to come from somewhere, isn't it? You see, so so like that. But for the final schools, Southern, but the Pasangika Madhyamika school, then Pasangika Madhyamika school, the substantial existence is the main negation. So meaning that the assertion, the basis of emptiness by the Southern Madhyamika school become the main or the most subtle negation to the now I confuse with all the terms, Southern Pasangika, I'm sure. the final school, the Pasangika school, the Pasangika schools, the main negation is the substantial existence or the inherent existence, for sure true existence, but main is a substantial existence. So therefore, by negating the substantial existence, then everything becomes lack of substantial existence or lack of inherent existence. Since even the substantially lacking of inherent existence, even it is a seed, or even it is basis of becoming something, is a lack of inherent existence, then nothing left except the word, the name, you see, except the imputation. So that's why we say, understand that everything is imputation of the mind, or everything exists in the name. You see, everything exists as just a name. You see, I exist merely in name. I exist merely in label, like Geshe Zopa exists merely in label. And it is so true. It is so true. I'm sure many of you also, if you have taken refuge, after your lay name, when you take refuge, you get a refuge name, and some people, they start to use a refuge name. Then after that, some people get ordination, then they totally forget about the lay name. They use their ordination name. And some people, I heard in the West, you can also, maybe everywhere, I don't know, you can actually go to the government and change your name, isn't it? Totally change your name. So you see, so clear that you are simply exist merely name. There's someone who know only my lay name. For them, Tenzin Zopa do not exist. If I am right in front of their eye and pushing their nose like that, they say, where is Tenzin Zopa? They say, I don't know. I don't know where he is. Even I'm pinching his nose. Those only know my lay name. Those only know and recognize my lay life. Then, now with the robe, with the shaved hair, where is Tenzin Zopa? Even if you ask, what do you call the American, the FBI, you ask FBI, even they cannot find. FBI also cannot find. Whole world they cannot find. You see, so, and you are Tenzin Zopa. That's it. But then for those, what's say? So in fact, in this world, many people, those my friends, many people really don't know my lay name. If I give that as my what you call my CV, people say that's not Tenzin Zopa, that's not Tenzin Zopa, that's someone else, isn't it? And so anyway, you see, and you also start to, let's say, especially when you get ordained, you become so clear, because the first vow is, negate the three things: the lay name, the lay identity, and the lay way of thinking, the lay way of thinking. And you adopt the three vows of ordained identity, your Sangha name, and then the mind of renounce, then they change the sign of the Sangha sign. You see, so you see, so for after a long time, you really totally you've forgotten, absolutely. You forgotten of your lay identity. You completely become new identity, and that's you. And even legitimately ask you, are you the lay person who has a girlfriend before? After you become monk, you ask that, or the nun. It's very, very challenging. You say, if you say I'm yes, in every aspect you are not. That is simply your past. That's simply your continuum, and that is no more exists in the present moment. Even in that reality, is that lay person is not you. You see, then as a transition of the vow, from no vow to vow, then definitely that's not you. That's your past of a lay person. Now I'm an ordained person. You see, only the same continue, but it's not you, not the present you, isn't it? You see, so you can find your past in emptiness in you, completely negate in you. You see, of your past. Yeah, you see. So so anyway, I don't know whether I give the right example or not. Maybe it's the right example, but the way I say it become a very lousy example. Okay. So in any way, the better way, how to say, the technique that presented from philosophical treatise is you check whether you substantially, inherently, truly exist or not, on the basis of the
5 aggregates, or on the basis of the body, on the basis of the mind, and overhaul, or then out of your aggregates and outside, the rest of the phenomena. You really cannot find yourself, isn't it? You cannot find yourself as your heart, or as your limbs, as your skin. You cannot find you as the photo that you have snapshot. You cannot find yourself. You see, in actual fact, you are very much like the image in the mirror, that when you look at your face, all the functions are there, but in the mirror, there's no you. It's just your reflection. It's just a reflection of your imputation of the mind, imputation of your idea. Simply that, exactly like the object in the mirror, of your face in the mirror. You see, you claim it's my face. You claim it's me. You say, who is in the mirror? You say, it's me. Or the picture is, who is in the picture? You say, it's me. And sometime, without being careful, you say, my picture. But most of the time we say, it's me, isn't it? If my picture is slightly better. But most of the time we say, me. That's worse. In the emptiness idea, that's quite tragedy, So it's very much saying that you can able to find yourself in the mirror there, out there, you can really able to have a completeness of yourself in the mirror, you see. So therefore, if you really investigate, analyze it, then the absolute truth is you are completely empty of inherent entire existence. You are simply exist in the merely labeled by mind. You see, so merely arise or exist in the dependent nature. It's dependent on what? Dependent on the right basis and dependent on the right imputation. And that could be, the basis could be the culture, gender, all this could, all this could be the reason. So even about the gender, etc., if you really go to, analyze the way how you analyze emptiness, you cannot find inherent different genders. You see. So therefore, at the end of the day, the ultimate reality, everything, falls into one case. You see, including of samsara, nirvana, wisdom and method, in function, interdependent, existing. There are many different forms, many different activities, many different functions, but in ultimate nature, everything comes into one taste. You cannot find the exact quality of emptiness that you can find in enlightenment. In samsara, you can find the same lack of inherent existence, whether it can be samsara or whether it can be liberation. You see, so like that. Okay, so that's the philosophical aspect. So you can read tenet, Buddhist 4 tenets. So there, they present the different definition, then also the different negation. So once you know the different negation, when you start to negate from gross to subtle, so that will help us to reach to to realize the correct emptiness. So that's one thing. So now so there's a different let's say wisdoms on emptiness, like such as the one single word, emptiness, but then that can be in many different names based on the tool that you try to get to the get to the final understanding of the absolute emptiness. So there are such as 16 different kind of emptiness. Like two different kind of emptiness, 4 different kind of emptiness, 16 different kind of emptiness, 18 different kind of emptiness, 20 different kind of emptiness. So this is the one that I'm talking about, the list. So yeah, maybe if it just for some idea, if you can, if you just say, just give, those names, maybe it can be beneficial. I don't know. For the class is a headache, but for someone want to explore more, then it can be some benefits. But then when we talk about emptiness, it's just to hear the name emptiness one time, or can be so beneficial to purify our karma. So maybe that's the benefit. So you see, the 2 different kind of emptiness is the emptiness of self, emptiness of phenomena. Then the 4 different kind of emptiness is the first one is they call empty itself, the empty of inherent, then extremely empty, then great empty, and then entirety of emptiness. You see, so there are many different names. These are based on the finding of emptiness, or based on the different subjects, different bases where you go and figure it out. It is absolute reality. Then all these different names came about. 16 different kind of emptiness. We call it the internal, the internal emptiness, external emptiness, the emptiness of both external and internal. Then the emptiness of emptiness, the emptiness of the great, the emptiness of ultimate, the emptiness collected phenomena, the emptiness of uncollected phenomena. Then the emptiness of that beyond extremes. Then the emptiness that without beginning or end. The emptiness of that which is not abandoned. Then the emptiness of the nature. Then the emptiness of all phenomena. Emptiness of the self marks. The emptiness of non-apprehension. The emptiness of lack of truly existent, truly existent identity. So these are the 16 different kind of emptiness. So the 18, you just you add the emptiness of lack of things and emptiness of the naturalness. So these 2 add up, it becomes 18 emptiness. So then for the 20 different emptiness, on top of the 16 different type of emptiness that I mentioned before, and you add the emptiness of a thing, then emptiness of the lack of the thing, and emptiness of the other nature. Yeah, so emptiness of the other nature. So this 4 you add on to it, then it becomes the 20 different kind of emptiness, like that. So now this different names of the emptiness, as mentioned before, is very much based on the object that you analyze, its nature. So when it comes to object, then again, even though in the Heart Sutra, when you chant Heart Sutra, we always chant them. But sometimes we just simply read it, but actually all those different object of analysis of emptiness, you can use these different emptiness tools to understand the absolute nature into it. So those are like such as the 5 aggregates, as we all know, form, etc. 5 aggregates. Then the 18 constituents. Then the 18 constituents, which are the combine of these 6 objects of basis, 6 objects of basis of the senses. Then the 6 senses power, 6 consciousness that rely on, such as eye consciousness, etc. Up all the way up to the mental consciousness. Then the 12 ling, 12 ling of interdependent arising, such as the ignorance, conceit, action, consciousness, name and form, source, contact, feeling, craving, grasping, existence, birth, aging and death. Then 4 noble truth, the truth of suffering, truth of cause of suffering, truth of the cessation, truth of the path. So, yeah, all this. Then the 12 sources. 12 sources. Such as 6 type of the object, such as form, sound, odor, taste, touch, phenomena. Then there's 6 type of cognitive power, such as eye cognitive power, sense cognitive power, mental cognitive power, etc. So like that. So you see. So so there's a meditation, can be done, which we will discuss on the next session. It is all falls into the discursive meditation object. If you read the Lamrim, then there's in the section, the preliminary sections where you study the shamatha teaching. In the English translation, there's 3 volumes of the great Lamrim Chemo, isn't it? The 3rd volume. There you can find all these object of discursive meditation objects, which I just mentioned, like such as 5 aggregates, etc. So then when you relate to the Hasutra, is very much engaging into the meditative practice. First, you learn the definition, as like how we learn through the philosophical different presentations. At least learn from the Pasangika Madhyamika view, what the Nagarjuna teach extensively in the fundamental wisdom, teach on the precious, precious garland. So then Lama Tsongkhapa's middle way, the treatise. If you want to explore learning about all this, then you can refer to all this, very much based on Lama Tsongkhapa's teaching, which is one of the most clear, comprehensive, and well organized, and use those terms, easier for us, our time to relate to. Then if you can afford, then you can learn the treatise. Now almost every treatise available in English translation, like such as by Nagarjuna, Dharma Kirti, Chandra Kirti. Chandra Kirti especially has a lot of treatise. Then including of the Shantidevas, even from Bodhisattva Avacharya, the last wisdom chapter, or then Lama Tsongkhapa's from Lamrim, the wisdom chapter. In fact, if you learn Lamrim, the graduate part of enlightenment, Lama Tsongkhapa's wisdom chapter, that already can be good enough, because there Lama Tsongkhapa, what do you call, the quoted such as Nagarjuna, such as Chandrakirti, Dharmakirti, all those major Mahayanic, great philosophers who are, very much similar to second Buddha, without any faults. So you read, you study the third volume, the wisdom chapter, that already for busy people, you have so many responsibilities, to go and read so many other treatises would be a bit hard. So if you read Lamrim Chemo, the last chapter, I can say, that will already reach, will make you rich in the emptiness wisdom. So, so like that. So now, in short, I think the time is already overing. So in short, when we talk about understanding, I mean, we discuss some, quite a varieties of ideas. So once you, let's say, if you just summarize it, then try to get to know the emptiness, that which is clear of the two extreme, the nihilism and immaterialism. If you want to put all those complicated philosophies and this and that idea put aside, and you want to just to summarize it, then try to know the emptiness, which by clearing two extreme, then you will know the middle way. You will know the right view of the middle way. You will know the right view of the Madhyamika. That is that which is unable to, even by the earlier philosophers, comparison to the Pasangha Madhyamika, unable to do so, even though they still claim, they assert interdependent rising, they assert emptiness, but unable to realize the absolute middle way. Middle way is, as mentioned before, clearing of the two extreme, coming to the middle is middle way. And the earlier school, they cannot come to middle way. The reason is, if they establish emptiness, if they establish emptiness of, if they establish emptiness, if they establish emptiness of the middle way, or emptiness of the lack of inherent existence, they come to a understanding that everything is become nothingness, everything disappear, fall into one extreme. Then if they need to, because emptiness doesn't mean nothingness, isn't it? In fact, emptiness means existent. Emptiness is the reason of existence. Emptiness is the reason of entire functions are possible. You see, like what Nagarjuna says, if there's emptiness, there's existence. Because of emptiness, everything exists. You see, because of emptiness, karma exists. Because of emptiness, samsara exists. Because of emptiness, nirvana exists. Because of emptiness, you exist, I exist. America exists. Australia exists. Mexico exists. Whatever. You see. So now, when they establish existence, they can't help to able to establish existence without non-existent, without lack of inherent existence. When they establish existence, then they need to have something inherently existent, and that inherent existence they bring in the name of some as a substantial existence, some as a true existence, some as a dualistic existence, some as a permanent existence, independent existence. You see, again, we go back to the philosophy that we just talked about, you see. So because of that, they cannot come to the middle way. So now the Pasangika Madhyamika, like Nagarjuna, Lama Tsongkhapa, because of lack of inherent existence, therefore exists you and me, therefore exists everything. You see, so
being empty of inherent existence itself is a proof of legitimately existent. You see? So now, because of legitimately existent, what means legitimately existent here is interdependently existent, interdependent arising. Because of interdependent arising, therefore everything is empty. Because there's a completely empty because of interdependent arising. That's why you don't have to fear that everything is losing. You see, that's why it's emptiness. You see, because of void of inherent existence. That's why cause and condition, part and particle, samsara and nirvana, you and me, this amazing characteristics is possible. You see, so that's why sum up in the Heart Sutra, in the section of the definition of the emptiness in the Heart Sutra, is a form is emptiness, emptiness is form, form is not other than emptiness, emptiness is not other than form. That's what it means middle way. That's what it means exactly the emptiness that Buddha intended. That's the emptiness that what Nagarjuna and Lama Tsongkhapa presented as the middle way, you see, which meaning form, the nature of the form is empty of inherent existence. Therefore, form is therefore that emptiness of the inherent form is the reason being a form. You see, being a form, the existence of the form. You see, so form is emptiness, emptiness is form. Form is not other than that emptiness. That existent form is not other than lacking of inherent existence, which is empty. You cannot find, you cannot find the lacking of each other in one taste. So like that, you see. So in short, now we all conclude in this word in Heart Sutra, which everybody may be familiar. Form is emptiness, emptiness is form, form is not other than emptiness, emptiness is not other than form. I is emptiness, emptiness is I is not other than emptiness, emptiness is not other than I. So the thought, the anger, the virtuous thought, the bodhicitta, everything you interpret like that, So now this interpretation, you try to bring into action in day-to-day life as a way of life. So how to do that, which we will discuss more in the meditation, in the last session. But now, just have that, just an introduction like this. Whatever whenever your consciousness interact, your senses interact with the phenomena, you carry the ideas of illusional-like, wisdom of emptiness, or illusional-like understanding, to the phenomena. You see, like a dream-like, like a mirage-like, like the face in the mirror-like. You see everything, you see all the function, you can define everything, but then always reminded that it does not exist the way how it perceived. There's another layer of it is truth. So you cannot completely settle and trust. When anger arises, you say, this is absolute anger. No. When joy arises, this is absolute joy. It is not like that. There's always so that's why always give space of breathing, space of few moments to analyze. Then you can feel the taste. You can feel the taste. Even in the suffering, you can find the meaning. Even in the pleasure, you can increase the pleasure. Like when you look at the rose flower, if you go beyond what you just see just one color and quite a beautiful shape. But if you interpret that in emptiness, wow, you can expand the beauty, the color, the shape, as infinite as like a space. You see, so that's the benefit. You see, then it also benefits to avoid delusionalizing it. You can able to object from being delusional about it. you see, because of that view. Then once a while, whenever you find even 5 minutes, 1 minute to do an absorption meditation, do analytical meditation. Then after that, then the taste of the emptiness of self, or the taste of the emptiness of the water, or taste of the emptiness of the anger, or taste of the emptiness of the any virtue, then you just get into that one idea, single pointed, as much as possible, like that. Okay, so we will talk that part more detail next session. Thank you. I will stop here. So I think I took a lot of your extra time. So as we all know, roughly we know how to dedicate. Especially we dedicate this collective merit to end the war, and overcome the natural disaster and the pandemic. Then everyone able to, live in peace, harmony, virtue, happiness, friendship, like that. Okay. So thank you very much.